doing great. It's me, Nikki, here to take you on the journey of putting together a visual command center in my home kitchen. I'm so excited about this, and I want to thank the sponsors of this video, Cricut, for helping me get the job done. So let's get started. Okay friends, this is the project that you and I are going to create together, my home command center in my kitchen. And this is one thing that I think that every household should really try to implement, that central place in your home for the family to go to for all of those things that you need to access to manage your home and the family life. Now, tip one, it starts with that board. You need a place to put those signed papers, any RSVPs you need to send back, the honey to-do list. You know, this is a great place to corral all of those things that tend to put paper clutter on our countertops, on our fridges, and really frustrate us. So having that message board is key to your command center. And this particular board is the larger version of the one that I have in my home office for my vision board. I love it. So now it's time to roll that Cricut Maker into the kitchen so that I can get the job done and have a lot of fun doing it. If you're not familiar with the Cricut Maker, it is the ultimate smart cutting machine, and it is amazing. It cuts hundreds of different materials such as vinyl, which I have here, and that's what I'm going to use today, but it also does paper and wood and leather, and so it's just, you know, you can do anything with this thing. It's just amazing. So what you and I are going to do is start with creating those acrylic signs. Those are going to be essential for the command center, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what each sign is going to be as we go on this journey. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting down my vinyl, which is going to have my design uploaded into Design Space, which is Cricut's program that they use to help you create tons of things, whether it's labels for your pantry or your garage or just for your command center. It's just anything you need to do, this thing can basically do. And so what I did was I created how I wanted my board to look, exactly what I want. It was totally customized by me. I sent it right to Design Space, and I asked the Cricut Maker to cut it out for me, and it is doing it. And it was so simple, so fun to do because I was able to customize this. And that's something about your command center. You want to be able to have that flexibility of creating something that really is unique to you and the needs of your family. And so I can change out my blade here to different blades or emboss or pins if I want it to write for me. So many things you can do. This can come in great when you're trying to label your home. Now I did, from my hardware store, pick up a piece of acrylic, actually two, to make my signs. They actually cut it to size for me. All I had to do was drill the holes in the corner, and then I have these mounts here that I have so that it's beautifully mounted under that board, under my kind of message board there. So now that the Cricut Maker has cut out my perfect signage, I am going to grab my transfer tape. But before I put this down, and this is what I would lay down on here to lift it up, and I'll show you that in a second. But first I need to weed out everything that doesn't belong on my sign, because you see all of the black on the black vinyl there. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically trying to remove the black vinyl from the sheet, leaving back only my signage. So now that we are left with just my sign, it's about taking that transfer tape and letting it do its job, transfer my sign onto the acrylic. And so what I'm doing is I'm just going to lay the transfer sheet down, and it's going to adhere to all of the items that are in black, because that is my sign. That is all of my weekly sign. And I love this roller here from Cricut, because this is going to press down and allow it to stick. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get all of the things that you want on your project to transfer to this piece of transfer tape. Because then from that point, what I'm going to do is simply lift it off of the white paper you see down there, the white gridded paper, and then I can lay it down on my project, which for me is my acrylic sign. So now that I have got it all pressed in, it's time for the fun part. I'm pulling it up, and I'm pulling my design up onto the transfer tape. And as you can see, it has transferred to the tape. And now what that allows me to do is to take this piece of tape and lay it down on my acrylic board. And that is basically it. So you'll notice it's in reverse, and I did that strategically. So I want to back up a little bit. I did put tape down because I wanted to make sure that I put it down evenly. For all projects, you may not need to do this, but for most, you probably want to put a ruler or something just to make sure it's lined up like you want it. And then I simply laid it over the acrylic. I rubbed it down a bit to make sure that it's going to transfer onto my acrylic. So one, you transfer it to the transfer tape, then you transfer it to your project, which is my acrylic board here. And then what I'm going to do is just lift it off, and it's done, friends. And this is such a fun part and so rewarding to pull that transfer tape off, because then you see that finished product and it's just absolutely beautiful. I wanted a modern look with this first board here. This one is for our weekly. And in your family, I think it's important to have a place to track those things for the week. Like my command center is really weekly focused. And what it does is it gives me a place to write meals. It gives me a place to write any appointments for the week, but it's only focused on that week. I don't want a message board that really carries on through the month or year, because then it can provide too much visual clutter for the kitchen. That stuff, you can keep in your planner or your home management system, but I want it just for our weekly activities to be able to walk past this section in the kitchen and see what Mike and I have going on in our home for the week. And friends, because this is so visual and everyone sees it, it's important that you stick to the week. Like when you create a command center and you just make it that drop zone and it's not managed, then it can cause clutter. So that's not what you want to happen. And so you'll see that it's very specific to the week. And I'm going to share with you how we're going to manage this so that it doesn't get overwhelming. Again, it's not about just setting up this command center and then letting it fill up and week after week just throwing papers on it and never maintaining it. Then that's going to be kind of a problem for your family. So I want to share with you some tips on how you can keep it so that it flows and works well for you. So one is by setting it up so that it is weekly, not anything that's monthly or just ongoing. So the next board I have is going to be the list board. And the list board is that board that we're able to write down those things that we need for the week. And that's things, whether it's for the home, it may be things for the pantry, for meal planning. It just helps us have that place that we can write down as we find that we need it right there, and everyone can see it, and then we can tend to pick it up. If I go to the store and pick something up, I can mark it off and Mike can see that it's gone and it's done. And so it's really just set up for the week. So let's run through the top 5 must-haves for order with this command center. One being is to have this set up. Have your command center set up and establish guidelines for the family. You guys need to establish what the command center is used for so that it does not become that drop zone for just everything. And so for Mike and I, it's for those things that we need to take care of only for the week. Sending the RSVPs, any papers that we need to send off, anything that is on the honey to-do list, anything that we need to pick up. What are the meals that we're having for the week? We're putting that on there, and appointments for the week. So that is key, is that everything on here applies to what we're only working on for that week. I do keep a pair of scissors up here because we use scissors for everything around my house. So I tend to have a pair hidden in every room. RSVPs for this week. Honey to-do list is up here for the week. So those are the things that are the rules here. Now the next tip is having that family meeting. And you guys know I talk about this all the time, but this is how you're going to keep it managed. Mike and I, every Sunday, we sit down at the kitchen table, which is right across from our command center here, and we have a family meeting. And here's our agenda. Our agenda is the same every week. It works seamlessly, and we go through those things such as the meal. What are we having for the week? What was one struggle and one was one success that each family member had for the week, so that we can check in on each other. We also talk about the family budget. the key to success with family meetings is to have them every single week at the same time, everybody present. And so Mike and I sitting at this table, the board is refreshed. The command center is refreshed every Sunday after our meeting for the upcoming week. And so it's not something that is going to just kind of get overwhelmed with papers, and the list is going to be outdated and the calendar is going to be outdated. Every Sunday while we're sitting at that kitchen table, once we get up from our family meeting, we're set for the week. Now, one thing we are going to add on to our board are the prayer cards. I have these prayer cards. I usually put it on the living room coffee table every day. I pull one and put it there. But what I'm going to do is put it here because we walk by here so much and it's just so much more convenient. So that is a part of our guidelines of something that would go on our board. And thanks to my Cricut Maker for being my partner on this amazing project to bring additional function to my home. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, definitely click that subscribe button along with the bell. I would love to have you. So friends, I hope you've enjoyed joining me as I put together our home command center. It was so much fun to do this with you. I will be sure to link my Cricut machine and all my supplies that I use in the description box below. Have a beautiful day, my friends. I will see you at the next video. And this is Nikki saying goodbye.